Here we go. So, since I have a lot to do today, I thought I would demonstrate a video on no excuses. You have somewhere to go and you're dressed to go, but you can do a little exercise within 20-25 minutes without any problems. So we're going to start laying on our backs. And just find your entire body on that mat and feel how it feels to be connected to the floor. So even if you didn't have a mat and you were on carpeting, you could put a towel down. And I'm just going to start rocking my pelvis back and forth from my belly button to my tailbone. And I'm just observing how that feels. And I can feel the difference between my back being completely into the mat and released. Just rocking easy, feeling how it's just making my spine feel so much better. We're also going to be focusing on back health and opening up our hearts, our chest, releasing all that restriction we have in our chest area. And then find that place where you can feel that you're on your sacrum, but your belly button is not pressing down through the floor. There's a tiny, tiny little space in the small of your back. And you can feel really balanced. Feel those shoulder blades flattening out underneath you. Feel the back of your head onto the mat. And just lift your right leg up into tabletop. And just from here, we're going to tap down and up with our right leg. And just feel the connection again through your entire body. And then bring that right leg down and let the left leg float up into tabletop and go up and down from here. So depending on the space you have, you can see I have limited space here. If you want to, you can extend the leg even more. And you could even go all the way straight. If you can get to the floor, I have a couch blocking me. And then come all the way down and bring both legs up into tabletop and bring one leg down at a time. So if this doesn't feel fantastic to you, or I shouldn't say fantastic, if it doesn't feel great to you, you can start from the floor and come up. So continue moving. I'm going to actually make sure everybody's muted since we are recording right now. And we're working on lower back. We're working on opening up our chests, releasing some restrictions. There we go. And we're on our backs. And then bring both feet down. Feel the shoulder blades pressing down again underneath you. Widen your hands and fingers and bring your arms up. So now I just want you to reach your fingers so high that you can feel your shoulder blades separating and then press those shoulder blades down underneath you. So we're just going to reach and plug in. And my hope is you can actually feel what's happening in that whole shoulder area, especially from the back. And we're really getting into the shoulder joints. Somebody said to me they felt like they're the Tin Man and that they're getting oiled. So we're going to plug those shoulders in, and we're going to bring one arm behind us at a time. And if you can get your fingers to the floor, go for it. It should feel really good. Maybe bring both arms all the way down and all the way back. And exhale as you come back. And the speed is up to you. You can always play around with the movement as long as it feels right. And what I mean is, if it hurts, it's not right. So bring your arms here. Your fingertips are pretty much over the lower part of your ribs, and we're just going to open and close here. And then bring your hands by your hips. Again, palms are nice and spread and wide. And we're just going to start to peel up into a bridge. So lift your hips up from the tailbone, lifting up one vertebra at a time. And really feel the energy, or let me rephrase that, feel the length of your body Shoulders all the way through to your knees. Thigh bones draw towards each other, and just continue to lift into the hip bones and keep a nice alignment from your head all the way through to your feet. And then slowly peel your way down, one vertebra at a time. Get a nice massage in your back. And let's do that again. Peel up one bone at a time. And slowly peel down. Really working on that spine articulation and that hip extension. And we're going to do one more time and stay up. And just pretend that you have a floating skateboard right under your hips, and it's going side to side. And it's floating and sliding down, all the way down to the floor, and then it comes right back up. And come right back down. Finding yourself all the way back down to the mat, and we're just going to do a couple more pelvic tilts. And walk your legs together and let your legs drop a little side to side. So really getting through your waistline. Then come center and walk your feet to the wider edges of the mat and begin to let your legs drop side to side, and notice the difference. So now we're getting into some lower back stuff and psoas release. Let's let both legs drop all the way over to the left and stay there. So just let yourself release. And my hope is that you're feeling a nice stretch in the front of your right leg. Nothing in the knee. If you feel anything in the knee and you have your roller handy, you can just stick that roller right between your legs and let the knee rest onto the roller. It should take the pressure off. And just let yourself be. And the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is press the back of that leg forward so you could feel the front of that right leg releasing. It should feel like a lot of work. You should feel a big sensation in the front of that right leg. And then allow it to completely go. Just let it go. No holding on to anything. Take a nice deep breath, deep inhale, and as you exhale, release a little more. And then slide yourself so you're laying completely onto the left side of your body. And we're just going to let our arms be on top of each other. Now, if this isn't comfortable for you, you can grab something to put your head on. It really is a personal choice, so whatever works for you. I kind of like doing this because it's forcing me to get a nice extra stretch in my neck. And everything is stacked, and I'm going to reach my top arm forward, and then I'm going to slide it on my bottom arm and roll back. And as I turn my head to look over that right hand. And you should all feel a nice stretch happening through that entire upper body. And you might even feel this all the way down through your back. Unwind back forward and take your hands behind your head interlaced and pick up that top elbow and just roll back again. Get a nice stretch in that chest. Know that it's okay if your arm does not get to the floor. The more you hold this, the more you'll decompress, the more you'll unwind. Unravel again, and we're just going to lay here, or if you really feel like you're feeling ambitious, you can be up here. Whatever version of this works for you. And we're going to lift our feet and open and close that top leg. So this is really getting into the strength of our hips, into our gluteus medius, which helps for all sorts of issues, especially if you tend to be knock-kneed. Just 2 more. And then from here, only if it feels good to you and you're set up really nicely, I want you to let your hips float up and down just a couple times. If that doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. We're moving on quickly. And then come back down and come back to your backs. So lay all the way down. Walk your feet to the wider edges of the mat again and let both legs drop to the right. And just see how that feels. Same thing, if you feel anything in that left knee, let it relax. And squeeze the back of that leg forward. Feel the front of that leg just getting a nice deep stretch. And allow it to relax. Feel everything decompressing. Interlace your fingers behind your head and just rest for a moment. I realized we didn't do this on the other side, and I did want to skip it today. So just stay here for a moment, allowing everything to release. And you could release your hands and just lay completely onto that right side with your hands in front of you. I'm going to turn around so I can see everybody. So we're all on our right side now. And if you notice, my hands are not up here, they're down here. I'm going to reach forward, and then I'm going to slide my top hand along my arm and open up behind me. And just stay for a few breaths. Feeling yourself unwinding, lengthening, growing taller. Unravel back center. Interlace your fingers behind your head, elbows on top of each other. Lift your top elbow and roll back. Do your best to keep everything stacked so you get a deeper stretch. Unravel back center. And your choice, you can lay down or you can prop yourself up. It really is up to you. Let's start with the part that I don't like. So let's just lift and lower those hips. Just a few times. I really want you to work more under here. If you feel anything in your neck and shoulders, stop. And then everybody can choose to be up here, lay down, lift your feet, and we're going to open and close that top leg. And then from here, have a seat and bring the soles of your feet together, knees open. You could grab your feet or your ankles, and we're just going to slowly open and close our knees towards the floor as we sit nice and tall, getting a nice inner thigh stretch, getting movement into our hips. As you continue to sit tall, bend your elbows and reach and look at the inside of your feet like you're reading an interesting book. Allow your shoulders to relax. Allow your thighs to relax. Take another deep breath and see if you could release even further. And then carefully unwind back up to sitting and extend out just your right leg. So if you feel any pulling into your left knee, you can bring your knee right under the roller to ease any of that strain. If you're okay, stay here and see if you can find your sit bones on the floor. So if you need to, you can always sit up on a couple stacked pillows. And notice, are you on your sit bones? Are you leaning forward? Are you leaning back? What do you need to do to find this neutral position? And then we're gonna lift our left arm up and glide that shoulder blade up and down. So really visualize your shoulder blade moving, and hopefully it will move along as you're imagining it. Plug it in, so there's space between your neck and your shoulder. We're gonna lift up, so imagine this bottom rib lifting nice and tall as we reach up and over that right leg. My hope is you feel a nice stretch throughout your entire body. I especially feel it on the left side, but you might feel it differently. And if this is okay, maybe open up that bicep, that top bicep behind you a little, and see how it increases the stretch. Take a nice deep inhale, and exhale, come up and switch legs. So same rule applies on this side. You can always put that roller underneath if it's bothering your knee. We're gonna sit nice and tall, finding our sit bones, and reach your right arm up. Glide your right shoulder blade up and down. Good, that looks really good. Plug your shoulder blades in. Remember, you want space between your shoulder and your neck. Lift the ribs as you come up and over. So now we're going over the left side, feeling a stretch in the back on the right side. If you're really tight in your legs, you're gonna feel your left leg big time. And if this feels okay, open up that right bicep behind you, gazing towards the sky. Take a nice inhale. On your exhale, press up. And bring both legs in front of you. So technically, you are again sitting up tall on your sit bones, but some of us don't have this ability to sit like this, and I see a lot of people sitting like this. So what can you do to help you? A great suggestion is to do this with your mat against the wall so you have support. This feels so much better. Even though I don't need it, it feels good to have that extra support. So even if you don't need it, if you happen to have a wall nearby, try that and see how it really assists the stretch. So now from here, we're gonna lift our arms up and press your back either into the wall or into an imaginary wall as you reach forward. And you should really feel a toning in the abs and a stretch throughout your entire lower body. And then come up to sitting tall. And this time, hands on the floor, maintain a neutral spine as you walk forward. You're not gonna get down far if you keep that back elongated, but you should definitely feel the hamstrings. If you feel this behind your knees, soften the knees a little, it'll really get deeper into the hamstrings. I got this all the way going down from my heels to my behind. And then come all the way up to sitting nice and tall. And if you have your roller, this is a great place for it. You're gonna set it up so we're gonna roll down and open up that big area right here, like you feel a tight band. We wanna open it up. So we're gonna sit in front of the roller and you're gonna roll back right about where your shoulder blades are. If you don't have a roller, you can use anything that will elevate you in that area. You could roll up a beach towel, a yoga mat. You could put a couch pillow, whatever works for you. And right now, all I want you to do is just sit in this position and hold your head with your hands. Your fingers are interlaced, your elbows are up, and you should be completely relaxed. My hope is you feel a release in the back of your neck. And then slowly start to bring your head towards the floor. On your exhale, come back up. Inhale, release, and then exhale back. So you exhale on the movement. Taking your time, and I'm hoping everybody is feeling this. They're feeling the motion and they're feeling the opening in the back. Your lower back is on the mat. Your chest is getting a nice expansion. And if you prefer, you can lay all the way back and let those elbows open up and really get deep into that stretch and just hold for a moment or two. The other thing you can do is move either higher or lower and see if you can get deeper into that opening of the chest. As long as you're not below the bottom of your ribs or above the top of your shoulder blades. And then come up and lift your hips off the mat and start rolling up and down, getting a nice massage in the shoulder blades. If that feels good to you, maybe roll into the right side or the left side, whatever feels right and good to you. And then lay all the way down and let the roller act as a pillow for your neck. Then we're just going to roll our heads side to side, getting into the neck muscles. It should feel really good. So you can do this as long as you want, but I'm going to take the roller away and place it under my knees. We've already done the first part of bridging. So what I'd like to do here is, before we get back into bridging, interlace your fingers again under your head, lift your elbows, press your ribs into the mat, the lower part, lift your head, neck, and shoulders up, and let your head rest into your hands. I'd like to see you be able to do this and actually feel the release in your neck, but you should feel more work in the abdominal muscles as opposed to pulling yourself up. So you can let yourself learn how not to get your neck involved. And then roll back down. Exhale, press the ribs in, let the head rest into your hands. Stay up here, bring your hands behind your legs, and lift a little higher. Same thing. You should be able to hold this without feeling any strain in your neck. In fact, I'm barely even holding my legs. Bring your hands back behind your head and roll back down. Exhale, lift. Hands behind the hamstrings, lift a little higher, hands back behind the head, and roll back down. So now we're going to come into tabletop, and at first go ahead and let your hands be by your hips as you extend one leg at a time. So inhale when your legs come together, exhale when you extend one leg. And you should feel some work happening. So continue this. And if you really want to increase the sensation, lift your head, neck, and shoulders and just keep them up as you extend the legs. And then, if you'd like, add a twist, aiming your opposite armpit towards your opposite knee, and getting really deep into this work. Let's do one more and rest. You could do a lot more than that. Grab your shins with your hands and simultaneously open up those knees in circles and reverse it. Okay, so let's place our feet on the roller, press up into a bridge, and if it feels okay, roll your feet back and forth, and then slowly come back down. Bring the roller in, lift up again and place the roller right under your hips. We don't want to be in the lower back. We want to be right under the sacrum. So if you could visualize your pelvic bowl, if you can, the top part, you could feel your bones right up here. And if you just imagine that roller is right under those bones. And then we're going to lift up again. And all I want you to do is extend one leg at a time like we just did. And you may notice that this feels a little deeper than when we were on the floor. If I was really mean, I'd ask for you to do this on a mushy ball. So right now I'm being a little nicer. You're just going to stay here, extending one leg at a time. Then bring both knees in and rest. And then from here, let your legs roll a little side to side, hopefully getting a nice massage in your hips. You can always adjust the roller's position to find the best position for you. Come back center and hold on to your right leg as you just stay here. If this is not deep enough for you, you can straighten out that left leg and get a nice stretch in the top of that left leg. Circle your foot from the ankle joint and reverse it. And then grab your hands around your hamstrings and slowly bend and straighten that leg. So the goal is not for you to get your legs straight behind your head. The goal is to feel a stretch in your hamstring and in your psoas and your hip flexor. Straighten out that leg as much as you can and see if you could do like a little teeter-totter stretch. And then switch legs. Start with the knee bent as you hug that leg into your chest. If it feels okay, you can straighten out that leg and gently bring that bent knee in towards you. Hopefully you're feeling a nice stretch into your hip flexor and psoas. And then hands behind your leg as you straighten and bend that leg. And keep that leg straight, and we're just gonna teeter-totter the legs back and forth. And then bend both knees and bring both feet down as carefully as you can. Lift your hips off the roller, and we're all going to find our way to come up to sitting. So I'm gonna go ahead and take an assisted roll-up and take a moment here. And just let your knees drop a little side to side. Doing your best not to put too much pressure into your hands and wrists. Just getting into those hips. And then everybody is different, so I want you to pick the best way for you to come up to sitting. So if you can, do your best to come all the way up without using your hands. As you see, I had to use my hands today. So you want to do whatever you can to get yourself stronger there. And then we're just going to stand nice and tall and roll our shoulders forward, up, back, and down, and reach your right ear to the ceiling. Just take a moment here and hopefully feel a nice stretch in the right side of your neck. And then look down at your left armpit. Roll your head center. Lift your head up. Readjust, roll forward, up, back, and down, and lift your left ear towards the ceiling, keeping your shoulders even. Look down at your right armpit. Roll your chin center and up. And then inhale your hands above your head. Bring your thumbs to your third eye and thumbs to your heart. So that was about 25-30 minutes of quick movement and stretches. There is no excuse to not do something with movement. I wish you all love, peace, joy, and wonderful good health always. Namaste.